Hello there, I'm Bernie and this is Quick Reviews, and today is a special video because I have my special guest star,
Charles Briner. I'm his stepfather.
Yep, and today we're doing a longer video, so this might not be a quick review or a review at all, but rather a discussion, and we're going to be talking about the differences between DC's cinematic universe and Marvel's cinematic universe. And yeah, me and Charles are both big fans of the movies, not necessarily the comics as much, but yeah, and we will also be talking about Aquaman and the Shazam trailer at the end of this video.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get right into it. Oh, and also there will be no time limit on this video, because we're just gonna talk. So
yeah, it won't be quick.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, not as quick.
So let's get right into it. So I want to talk about DC first.
Okay.
And I usually do the cons first, so we can do that. So
Okay.
One con that I have with DC's cinematic universe, and I feel like this is the big one that a lot of people have, is they're rushing so much to try and compete with Marvel like right now. Like,
yeah.
Like it's like they can't just like do their own thing, and like they're making movies and they're in this weird order. Like first they did Man of Steel, which was good, Superman solo origin movie, right? But then they went straight into Batman vs Superman and kind of jumped over Batman and introduced Wonder Woman in that too. And that movie, I feel like, has a lot of flaws.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I mean, I personally, I just feel like they should have slowed down, like taken a step back. I mean, everybody pretty much knows Superman's origin story, Batman's origin story. I know that they did it a little bit different with Man of Steel, but if they'd have taken the time to develop their characters, gotten Superman's out of the way, Batman's out of the way, and maybe done the Wonder Woman movie then, so you can kind of get her origin story, because she just kind of shows up, and then bring maybe Batman and Superman together, and not try to push so hard to compete, because they got a lot of rich
just like
stuff to pull from.
And a lot of people were putting hate on like Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, and I thought they were fine. Especially Henry Cavill. I thought he was really good as Superman. And I didn't hate Ben Affleck as Batman. I mean, he's not like my favorite Batman, but I had no issues with Ben Affleck. But yeah, so I liked them as their characters and stuff. And like Charles said, I wish they did, make their own movies and stuff. Yeah, so the next con I have with DC movies is that like they're trying so hard to compete with Marvel, but like they're not trying. It seems like they're not trying as hard to make the movies good. They're just trying to make them quick, and that really shines in their CGI. I feel like, because they're made by Warner Brothers, who is a massive company and one of the biggest film studios out there. So like I'm gonna guess pretty confidently that they have enough money to put into CGI, but they're just like they fall behind Marvel, and like I thought Marvel's CGI wasn't even like the best already. Like it's okay, but it's not like I've seen better CGI in movies. Most notably like Star Wars, like Rogue One, when they recreated some people who had passed away for characters. I thought that was probably some of the best CGI I've ever seen. But yeah, Marvel's isn't great, but DC's, man, it looks like really like lame. Like
the Justice League, the
Superman
stash. Yeah,
you want to explain what that is? No one's.
Well, all right. So I guess they had gotten to a certain point in Zack Snyder's version, and then some things happened. He got pulled out. I guess by that time Henry Cavill had already had all of his scenes filmed, and he had moved on to the new Mission Impossible movie, in which he had to grow this great big mustache, like 70s mustache. And then I guess who did they have come in to help with Justice League?
They brought in,
was it Whedon?
Josh Whedon, yeah, they from Marvel,
right,
to try to fix Justice League after Zack Snyder ruined it or whatever.
Yeah, which I think he gets a lot of hate. Anyway, but so they had to have Henry Cavill come back in, and I think everybody knows this, but they had to have him come back in and do more scenes. And so he had this mustache, and he was Superman with a big stash, so they had to cover that up. And what seems like should be a pretty easy thing to do, I don't know that much about CG, I'm not by any means an expert, it seems like they should be able to do that fairly well, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it looked like in those scenes, it looked like his right here
was moving independently from the rest of his face.
And these muscles, weren't moving at all. And you're like, that's not natural at all. That's scary.
It was like on the beginning of SpongeBob SquarePants when you got the painting.
With the, are you ready,
kids? Yeah. And the mouth is moving, but their face isn't moving. That's what it was like.
Yeah, so that was really weird. It seems like they could have I'm not an expert. I don't know much about CGI, but it seems like they could have done the whole head or this area and not just. I don't know. So that was probably the most notable reason of bad CGI. And also another thing of bad CGI was in Batman vs Superman. At the end, this is a spoiler, so if you have not seen that, skip ahead.
Yeah.
So at the end of Batman vs Superman, they fight Doomsday, right? That's his name,
right?
And he's this big in the comics. He's this big dude, and he's got I don't know. He's big and scary.
Yeah.
And but in the movie, he looked like a Ninja Turtle without the shell, and it was scary. And but scary for the wrong reasons. And the CGI on him was rough.
Yeah.
He looked rough, and that movie has a lot of. That's probably a lot of people say Suicide Squad was the lowest point in DC. I'm going to give it to Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, and there were points. I mean, don't get us wrong. We're not like MCU over DC or DC over MCU. Yeah. We like both of them equally. I love them both.
Superhero movies, good.
My favorite superheroes are Superman and Spider-Man, and they come from the two different worlds. But I really want DC to have a win when it comes to the movies part, because they have such awesome characters.
Yeah.
And stories that they can pull from.
Yeah.
So, but moving on to the...
Oh, yeah. So moving on, it's really all I got. We kind of talked about this a little bit with DC, is that, this is the last con I have, is that they seem to have a thing where they definitely did this with Justice League, where they have one director who comes in, okay? And he starts the movie, and it's going to be his movie. But then a producer sees it, or they test it, and it gets negative reviews. So then they can the first director, and they bring someone new in to start over or reshoot stuff or whatever. And that doesn't work. Let one director make his movie and fail. Don't, because if you let one director do it, it has a shot of being good. But if you bring in someone else to try to do the same thing someone else started, it's just so much higher chance to suck.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I know that happened with Justice League. Did that happen with Batman vs Superman? I don't know.
I think Zack Snyder. I mean, I think he was there for that whole movie.
And then I know what happened with Suicide Squad was that they had the one director who did the whole movie, but then the producers made him reshoot a lot of it to be more like Guardians of the Galaxy, is what I've heard. And you can kind of see in the first trailer at the end, the Suicide Squad's just carved into metal, right? And there's bullet holes everywhere. And then the next trailer, it's carved into metal, but it's on fire. And then by the third trailer, it's all neon. And that's
signs,
that's what we got. So they tried to change it around, and
yeah, they do a lot of messing with runtime too. I know that they have parameters that they have to stay within, but to tell a story, sometimes you gotta get out of the way and let them
let it make a longer movie.
Right.
I know everyone hates on Zack Snyder, but one of his probably, I would say, most well liked movies he's made is Watchmen, and that movie's long, and I feel like he's a kind of director who likes to just take his time to tell his story, and the producers keep cutting him short, and I think that's a reason why his movies keep getting a lot of hate. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to move on now from DC, and we're gonna go into the MCU.
We love DC.
Because a lot of after that, they're probably like, look at these guys hating on DC.
No.
And I mean, even if that is the cool thing to do, I'm not trying to do that. So we're going to talk about things Marvel does wrong.
Because they're not perfect either.
Yeah.
Movie's perfect though.
I have said this before. My biggest issue with Marvel movies is their comedy. I do not like it. I think it's lame and forced, and I feel like you have to be younger than 10 to laugh at it. And the jokes are dumb. And I don't like. I don't know if you feel the same way, but it bothers me so much.
There have definitely been times in it when I feel like it's not necessary.
And I feel like that's a recent trend. Like It's been like 2016 movies or newer have been like the first one that I felt was really bad about doing that was Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, right? They was pushing hard on that.
Like, minor spoiler alert. At the very end of Guardians 2, Star-Lord turns into a giant Pac-Man. And I was like, that is, like, I was cringing. I was like, no, please.
I mean, he is, like...
He's a goofball.
80s program, but, like, and it's all about that.
It was so random. I felt like it was so out of place.
Yeah.
And just for a cheap laugh by little kids or something. But I don't know. That's my biggest issue with Marvel, is their comedy. And then another issue I have is that, I think I said this earlier, but, like, their CGI isn't great either, right? And I mean, they're owned by Disney, and Marvel's probably, if I'm not mistaken, one of the most profitable franchises like ever. Literally, they have what do they have? 18 movies, 19 now with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think. Like, was it over 20?
I don't know. I thought Infinity War was 18.
It might. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I might be wrong.
Yeah, but I'm going on 2 hours sleep, so I'm having a hard time.
But, they have such I know that they're making a lot of money, and so I wish they would invest in more of a budget for CGI. Cause
now it seemed like Infinity War.
Infinity War was good though.
I think that they spent a lot of time getting Thanos in the right place, and I think also too when they got the mocap, the motion capture stuff, helps a lot when you're in. And I think with things like creatures like Doomsday, when we were talking about in DC or the Batman versus Superman, they didn't
motion cap him. He was just straight animated.
Right, but when they've got somebody like Josh
Brolin, and he had the full motion cap suit on,
right,
and he was amazing.
And I think that helps a lot because you get a lot of the nuances in the face that you can't really do with a computer.
And they've started doing that with the Hulk.
Yeah,
they didn't used to, and the Hulk used to look kind of weird, but like. Yeah, that's one thing about Marvel I don't like is their CGI, I feel like, could be better.
Right.
It's good, but I feel like with how much money they make and how popular they are, I want them to be the best, and they're not the best. So another con I have with the MCU is that with the exception of a few movies, I feel like most of their movies take place in really bland environments that are just really gray in like city blocks, like think back on every Marvel movie you've ever seen. Think about where like most of it takes place. I bet it's somewhere where there's one primary color and there's just a lot of that and not very many colors that are different, and it's just kind of boring to look at, right? There's nothing like colorful. Now, I did say it has a few exceptions because the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and Black Panther I felt like broke this, and Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok definitely did, because if you look at the first Thor...
See, I feel like the first Thor is an offender of that, because they're in that small New Mexico town the whole time, and Asgard was just kind of all gold. I know.
Yeah, the Rainbow Bridge, that was cool. Color and stuff. But if you look at the first Thor, and then the second Thor especially was really bright and dark.
World.
And then Thor Ragnarok was like a neon sign compared to the rest of them.
And I'm not saying it has to like always look like the neon sign, but like I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy does this really well. Is it's just so colorful, just like everything feels like it's like Gamora is green, and it's like a really nice tint, and Star-Lord has the red jacket, and it's just like you remember these things because they stand out, right? And and then Black Panther had a lot of really vibrant like purples and oranges that mixed well together, and I liked that.
Yeah.
So with the exception of those four movies, I feel like a lot of their movies have really bland environment. And a bad offender of that is Civil War. Oh man, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It is great, but like every like major scene takes place in somewhere that's like gray or dark gray. You know,
like, and it might be too because of the theme of the movie
that's
too.
That's true. That's true.
It was like storms coming, and
yeah,
and the whole idea of them being divided.
Yeah.
I think that was
that's
that
true.
might have been on purpose.
That might have been
storytelling on purpose, but anyway, you know, everybody's got an opinion about movies, and what I always think. And a lot of people argue with each other. Like there's the DC clan and MCU clan, and they fight against each other, and they say a lot of negative things back and forth. But really, when it comes down to it, the movie's about how it makes you as an individual feel.
Yeah, definitely.
And from one person to the other, you know, if one person likes this movie and another person hates this movie, it doesn't make either one of them wrong. It's just the experience that the individual has.
Yeah.
And people notice colors, or people notice sounds, or people notice just different things, and that speaks to each and every person in a different way.
Yeah, like when I watch movies, I love movies that have very like bright and like vibrant colors.
Yeah.
And I also like movies that have really good soundtracks too.
Yeah.
So so
I like black and white movies.
I'm not a huge. Oh god.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Moving on from negatives, all right, because we just kind of tore those up, and you know now they're probably like, look at these guys hating on everything. No, we love both these franchises.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go into the pros, and since we kind of tore DC up first, we're gonna give them the pros first. And my biggest pro with DC movies is that they have cool action.
Yeah.
The action in them, you know, Batman vs Superman, for all the issues it had, when Batman and Superman were fighting, it was epic.
Yeah.
All right, like it was fun, you know, to see, you know, again, minor spoilers. Batman, you know, he shoots his kryptonite gas at Superman, and then they like have a fist fight, like what, like that, you know. And it was cool, right? And Man of Steel, oh man, that whole end, people were hating on this.
I know.
But at the end, when him and Zod are fighting and they're just destroying the city, I thought that was epic. I mean, people were freaking out, like, Superman wouldn't destroy cities, but like...
If you think about it, if they were actually beings like that, fighting each other in a city, you're going to get a huge amount of collateral damage.
Yeah.
And, he might try to take it somewhere else, but if you've got... Zod was equally as powerful as him. You can't just say, hey, Zod, let's go take this to the moon or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the building's coming down. And I also think Zack Snyder did that on purpose.
To lead into Batman vs. Superman.
Because of the idea of a being with this much power, can he be trusted? And to also give the catalyst for Bruce Wayne's character to be...
To want to fight him.
Yeah, to hate him.
Yeah.
And to be afraid of him, really. That's what it was. He had the fear that he might... turn against everyone. Anyway.
So I do like DC's action. And another thing with DC is there are newer movies that are coming out, which we're going to talk about at the end, like Aquaman,
Shazam!
And Shazam, yeah. And even Justice League, they're going in the right direction, all right? Like, Justice League wasn't perfect, but it was a step up from Batman vs. Superman. And also, Wonder Woman was a step up from Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, I really liked that one. Wonder Woman was cool.
I thought it was all right. I liked it. You know, it was good. It was solid. It was a solid superhero movie.
Yeah.
And Justice League I had some issues with, but again, solid superhero movie.
There was a lot of good parts in Justice League. I just, anyway. We'll let that go.
So I feel like they're on an upward trend right now, and I feel like. We'll talk about this more with Aquaman, but I feel like with Aquaman, they're finally just like kind of letting go of trying to compete with Marvel and just doing their own thing for the first time, and I'm good for that. Like, I like that.
Yeah.
And then this leads right into my next point, is that another pro for DC is I like their characters. Mm-hmm. Now I know that this isn't like a movie thing. This is a what do you call it? Like a comic book thing. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. If that edit looks really weird, my camera is not supposed to record like huge chunks at a time, so I'm gonna have to splice this together. So sorry if the edit looks really weird. I apologize now. So right back to where we were. We were talking about their DC movie. What were we talking about? Their characters. Their characters.
Characters.
Okay.
You were making the point about it being. the comic book part of it.
So the comic books, I like DC's characters. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all the DC characters. I like them. I like their powers. I think they're cool. And new Aquaman is epic. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, old Aquaman, orange, shirt with and seashell pants.
We don't want to offend any Aquaman fans out there or anything.
Yeah, definitely not. If that's your Aquaman, rock on. Cool. But that's not my Aquaman.
Yeah. And we're not diehard comic book dudes either.
No,
so,
I am I've read a handful of comics of anything, not just DC or in general. I've read probably 20 in my life.
My comic book history is Spawn, and it's not DC or Marvel. So
Yeah, we'll be talking about the new Spawn movie when we get a trailer. So
anyway,
off topic. Yeah. So back to this. We are definitely movie guys. Mm-hmm. We've probably seen. I've seen every Marvel movie and I've seen every DC movie. So I've seen them all multiple times too.
Yeah. The only one that I missed Marvel-wise was Deadpool 2.
And that's brand new. Right. And that's not even really MCU. That's owned by Fox too. Yeah. So Deadpool
that's true. Yeah,
it was good. Okay. So back into what we were talking about. DC, good characters, newer movies looking good. And then my final point, this one's going to be a bit controversial, is I think that DC has really good acting. A lot of people are like, what? No, Ben Affleck was I liked Ben Affleck. I like Henry Cavill. I like Jason Momoa. What's her name who plays Wonder Woman?
Gal Gadot.
Yeah. I like her.
If I said that right, I don't know if I pronounced her name right.
I think is it Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot?
I don't know.
It's something. It's one of those two.
Sorry.
I like her. The dude who played the Flash in Justice League was awesome. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know his name.
I can't.
But
Ezra.
He was good.
We'll flash that on the screen.
Yeah. And so I like their acting that DC has. I feel like they get good people. So now let's move into Marvel. That's really all I gotta say about DC. So let's move into Marvel. Now my biggest pro with Marvel is that they just tell really good stories. Each time, each movie you're getting in, it's gonna be a good story, right?
Yeah, like they're I know that the worst movie will be different for everybody.
Yeah.
But even their worst movie is not bad.
Yeah, it's just you're okay, that was all right.
Right. Because they get these movies that are super high up here in the bar or whatever, and then you get one that's a little bit more mediocre than that.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people recently on Ant-Man and the Wasp were saying that it was kind of a bland movie or even a week or something like that. But people also have to kind of realize that they're just coming off that Infinity War high.
Yeah.
And
definitely
Ant-Man and the Wasp was just a lighter movie, and it didn't have the size of Infinity War.
Because Ant-Man just...
Right, yeah. So you saw what I did there.
Yeah.
And so... I don't know. I think that sometimes that has to do with just perception and emotion. But personally, I enjoy Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, yeah. I liked it.
But anyway, to the point, though, it's you got these really big movies. So when they have one that's not up here, it's still not a bad movie.
Yeah, so, it's almost like every movie in the MCU, I feel is solid. All right, now, there are some that I don't necessarily enjoy. Just in my opinion, my least favorite MCU movie is Thor: The Dark World.
Followed by Iron Man 2.
Yeah, Iron Man 2 is probably a close second for least favorite. And, but Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World are okay movies. I'll still, if it's on TV, I might put it on for a few minutes. But it's not something I'm going to, go out and, rent or own or buy and just sit down and watch. But,
I've got them.
I don't hate the movies. They're all right.
To me, though, this now, the way they built it up, in the MCU, it's one continuous movie. It's just a bunch of stories in this gigantic movie to me.
And I have another pro that I just thought up off the top of my head, is that the people who put together Marvel movies are really good. I'm talking Kevin Feige, who's the producer and mastermind, really, of the whole MCU. I think he's a genius, right? And then all the directors that he brings in are really good.
The Russo brothers.
Oh yeah, and what's it? The guy who did Iron Man. What's it? He's famous.
Oh man, I just
Favreau.
Yeah.
John
Favreau.
John Favreau. He's really good.
And he's the one who was like, "Yeah, let's bring Robert Downey Jr." And they were like, "No."
Yeah, and I
was
just
like, "Come on, man, trust me."
I just called Kevin Feige a genius, but he didn't want to cast Robert Downey Jr. and
well,
and he, and that's what kick-started this whole thing. But yeah, and then I just want to take a moment to talk about James Gunn getting fired.
Yeah,
that was kind of lame. I know he made some really offensive jokes, but it was like 10 years ago. And and he apologized for it and did the right thing. So I still thought it was really lame that he got fired, and I really hope that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is still good.
Yeah.
It might suck now that he's gone.
I actually heard something the other day that they might negotiate something.
Well, there's a petition online that already has like 50,000 signatures to rehire him, and it was like same day that he got fired. So who knows what it's at now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was really lame that he got fired. So, that sucks. But, yeah, okay, so
great stories.
Yeah, Marvel
great
movies,
acting.
great stories, great acting, solid movies overall. Very good. So, yeah, we're going to move on now. Anything you want to say about Marvel or DC or things they do or don't do? Or?
Just that, I love them both. And like I said before, I see, like, when I watch videos on YouTube or whatever, there's a lot of DC versus MCU, back and forth, and I see a lot of hate back and forth too, and I'm just like,
why can't you like them both?
Yeah,
well,
it's like you can, it's possible. You can like them both.
Yeah, definitely.
And the ideas of fanboys this or fanboys that, it's like, everybody's a fanboy about something, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And opinions are fine. Everybody, you're going to like a movie that I don't like, and I'm going to like a movie that you don't like. But in the end, they're movies, and we really don't need to tear each other apart over them. That's really all I got to say about it.
All right, yeah, so let's move on from the MCU DC debate, or discussion, I guess, and we'll go right into the Aquaman trailer discussion. Now, this trailer, if you have not seen it, it was from Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And it got, premiered there, and then it was shown to the world a little bit later. And, so Aquaman is starring Jason Momoa, who is Aquaman, and it's directed by one of my favorite current directors, James Wan, who has done the Insidious movies. He did Saw. He did the Conjuring movies, and then he's also done the Fast and the Furious movies.
So he's had horror, action, now he's in the superhero.
Yeah, now he's getting into superhero movies, and I think he is a great director. I know the Fast and the Furious movies are controversial, but if you watch them, they're good action movies. They're the stories and acting might not be top of the line, but like the directing is, and especially the Conjuring movies. If you like horror movies, great movies. Recommend both of them, definitely, very high up. And James Wan really he's a genius when it comes to horror. But yeah, so James Wan and I like Jason Momoa a lot from Justice League, and also he was in the first season of Game of Thrones. He doesn't speak English in that show, but he was still cool in that, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. But then him as Aquaman in Justice League was awesome, and I feel like he's gonna do really good as Aquaman.
Yeah.
So so things that worry me about the Aquaman trailer is, again, with DC, is I just hope that they have some good CGI, especially with Aquaman, because it's all going to be underwater. There's going to be mythical creatures.
Sharks.
And I really hope that they can pull off some higher quality CGI.
Which has been like an issue in a lot of movies, personally, when you do certain creatures with CGI. You gotta get it right, because like with sharks werewolves? And stuff, to me, werewolves, but sharks, like, I've seen movies, everybody's seen the ones on sci-fi and stuff, but that's another story.
Ghost Shark
and
Sharknado.
Yeah. But the CGI, like, you gotta fine tune that stuff on living creatures that we can see, because. When you're doing a monster or whatever, you can get away with some stuff. Even like with dinosaurs and things like that, you can kind of get away with some stuff, because we've never actually seen one of those in real life, or
Yeah.
but we've seen sharks and sea creatures, So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, the trailer looks really cool. I just think that it's not polished yet. The CGI is not polished yet. But.
So we'll wait till the movie comes out to see that, and there will be a review on this channel of Aquaman. When did it come out? Soon? Not soon?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
To be honest, I'll have to go back and look at the trailer again.
Yeah,
We'll flash that on the screen too.
Yeah, there will be a. I will do a review on it when it comes out, and I'll see it as soon as possible and try to get the review up as soon as possible. So Aquaman, another thing, this isn't a pro or a con, is the story. I hope it's good. I want it to be good. I want this movie to be good.
DC needs a win.
Yeah, DC needs a win.
Another win.
Maybe get some of the haters off their back.
Haters gonna hate?
Yeah, so, I hope this movie's good. I want it to be good. I feel like it has a lot of potential. So, yeah, that's really all I got to say about Aquaman. Anything you want to say?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I was glad to hear that it was Jason Wan that was going to be directing. Or Jason
You
Wan.
combined Jason Momoa.
Yeah, I did.
And
there we go.
Yeah.
See what happens when you don't get any sleep? Your brain
Yeah.
gets messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, James Wan, I'm glad to hear about him being the director. So
Yeah.
So moving on to the one that I'm most excited about.
Now we're going to talk about Shazam, which
Shazam.
I didn't even realize that they were making a Shazam movie. I'm not going to lie. That was a pleasant surprise, again, from Comic-Con. And I don't know too much about Shazam, but looks cool. So, essentially, what I'm getting from this trailer, I don't know how well people watching this will know the character, but I guess he's a little kid, right? And he's like...
Billy Baxton.
He's a foster child, right? Moves from home to home, and he does something, and he meets this alien, ancient being, powerful one.
He's like a wizard.
Yeah, and he tells him to just say his name, which is Shazam, and he'll turn into a superhero, essentially.
His powers flow through him.
And so, what I got from the trailer is the movie looks like it's really, going to be fun. It's going to be happy and funny and lighthearted, and just a swing of direction from the darker movies DC likes to usually make. And it looks
not that we have anything against dark. We like dark, but
there's a place for dark, definitely. But it's good to have both ends of the spectrum.
Because Batman needs to be dark.
yeah. And so Shazam looks like it's going to be on the happier end, and more kind of funny. And the two, funny. It looks like the two main stars are actually two kids.
Right.
And this is a minor thing, is that child actors sometimes are really good and sometimes they're not good.
Example really good would be It.
Yes, oh my god, yes. And if you've seen the Netflix show Stranger Things, another example of really good.
Yeah.
And the movie came out a while ago, J.J. Abrams' Super 8, really good.
Really good.
But they were a bit older. They were probably like 16, 17.
And that one, I don't know.
I don't know.
13,
but yeah,
14.
really good. But then you have Bad, which I don't really want to call anyone out. I can't even think of any.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either.
But there, you know what I mean. There's great, and then there's Yeah. So I hope that Shazam falls into the great category for child acting, and
I don't know the name of the lead that's playing Billy Baxton, but the other guy, the other kid, his foster brother in it, is also one of the child actors from It, and again, names are slipping me.
Do you know who plays the grown up superhero Shazam?
I knew his name the other day,
forgot.
and I can't remember his name now.
I forgot to look it up.
Yeah, we'll have to. We'll have to get better at research. No, I'm just
kidding. Yeah, we'll have to do some more research next time. Yeah. But
we'll have to get our teleprompter to work better. No.
Yeah, really. I'll have to do a behind the scenes. We have a piece of paper that I just hand wrote notes on this fat Sharpie right here.
Yeah.
I just hand wrote notes on. So
yeah.
And it's hard to read. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, it's cool though. We're getting started.
Yeah. So, really, all I have to say about Shazam and Aquaman, anything want to put out there?
The Shazam trailer, I really enjoyed it. I'm a little bit older than Bernie.
A little bit.
So I grew up in the 80s, and all the 80s kids out there are going to know when I say the movie Big with Tom Hanks.
I've seen Big. Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah, I know what Big's about.
It's like Superman meets Big.
Yeah.
And you put it together, and that's what you're getting with this movie.
With
I mean, there's
Shazam,
some
yeah.
differences, but it's just that part at the end of the trailer, and I don't know. I guess I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it. I don't think it's spoiler to say this.
No, I don't.
He kind of foils a little gas station robbery, and then he comes walking out, and he's got like soda in one hand, and he's eating something, and these girls come walking up, and he's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm a superhero," and he's all goofy and stuff. And I just think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be silly. And yeah, I think it looks good. Shazam looks definitely good. Again, you will see a review for it right here on Quick Reviews when it comes out as soon as possible. I don't know when that one comes out either.
Yeah. We do actually watch all these things and keep up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I know we probably look like posers.
Notebook. Write it all down.
We need to do better notes.
Yeah.
Next time we do a long discussion video, we'll do better notes. So yeah.
And
okay.
I'll get more sleep beforehand too.
Well, that's really all we got to say. I'm Bernie.
And I'm Charles.
And this has been Quick Reviews, so I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, y'all.